How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's NASCAR DFS Pick Show. I am your host, TK Nation 47, joined by Andrew Berry, Mega Ruler 31. Mega, it's been an interesting weekend. A lot of value plays seemingly just keep running into each other. But overall, I think we've learned a lot about the track, how the builds have been going, and what's been working. Any confidence heading into the Cup Series tomorrow?
Third time's the charm.
Yeah. I think we just got dragged down a little bit on that Xfinity race with the Josh Williams. We felt so strong about that. We felt so great about truck builds. I mean, the truck race was just all bad luck, and Josh Williams having engine issues for the first time this year is just another anomaly. So,
and in GPP from the video, like I nailed like my GPP build. The final two guys in there, I had Barry, I had Allgaier, who ended up winning it, and I had Annette, who finished in the top 10. The great plays there. I had Harrison Burton just because his salary fit. I wasn't too high on him, but as I was building, and I'm just like, and he was up like running top 3. He pitted late to get tires, couldn't make it quite up there. But the final two guys in my line, I took Barry Hilfiger, and he was starting like 39th and had no place to go up but up. He went up a little bit, but not enough. And then Jeffrey Earnhardt really was the anchor. He just didn't move anywhere. Only had like 11 points, and had I picked probably two different guys at the bottom there, I probably could have definitely won quite a bit of money. So, but hey, we take what we can learn and move on.
Absolutely. I think the biggest takeaway I had so far through the weekend is that Atlanta is a direct correlation to finishing position, running position. Allgaier winning Atlanta, Harrison Burton was in the top 3 at Atlanta. So a lot of similarities from the Xfinity race from Atlanta to Darlington. I think that trend may continue tomorrow. This 1.5 mile track, the Goodyear 400, 293 laps, Cup Series at Darlington. It's another race where we're taking Truex, we're taking Larson, we're just going with what has worked this year.
Right now.
I mean,
save some of the secrets.
I mean, there's definitely GPP spots, of course, but it seems like those cars have been the best this year. Would you agree? And what is your take on strategy heading in?
I think it's kind of to the point now where the starting lineup isn't horrible, where you've got guys that are way far in the back. There's a couple that are back just because of bad luck, but the bottom part of this here from probably 32nd on back belong there. You got a lot of good choices up front. I'd say the top 7 cars, any one of them could win this. Anyone could go out and dominate this. Yeah. You've got a mid-range pack of 3 or 4 guys that you got to figure out. These are the guys that are probably going to get the place differential and could also potentially get up there and contend and maybe even win this one, like we saw Josh Berry get up in the race. I think actually Ty Gibbs probably could have contended also if he didn't have an error on pit road.
Yeah, a couple speeding penalties.
Right. So we've seen cars like get up and pass easily. We saw Kyle Busch in the truck series like fade back, and he wasn't in this race.
The truck race was just John Hunter Nemechek. I think he.
Okay, but I'm thinking of last week, man. It's just a blur this weekend. But anyways, we saw trucks that would fade a little bit behind in the restarts. I was thinking because the same thing happened to Kyle last week, but they were able to get back up there. It's not like they'd fall back to 10th position and it'd take them forever to get back up there. It seems like you can go 3-4 wide here at certain points on the track and bump into each other, and you'd be able to even keep the trucks going straight after a mild correction. So
I certainly agree. track position isn't as vital with how well you are, how easy it is to move within the track. Certainly, it has a lot to do with fastest laps, though. Typically, the leaders are pumping out the fastest laps. With a couple more extra laps, I think taking a stab at 2 or 3 dominators is a good strategy heading in. With that being said, we can jump into the starting grid here and start breaking this down. Brad Keselowski sitting on the pole, 10K. Any love for Brad?
Love, no. I do think,
Love.
These Penske cars do well in this this package where it's what the 750 horsepower versus the 500 horsepower, the high downforce. Like the one he's done really well in this package. All the Penske cars seem to have. So I definitely could get out there early, lead this. I could see that happening. Not saying he's my favorite pick, but I think, definitely he's one to consider.
Absolutely. GVP play, kind of going to treat it like how I did Allmendinger today. Just do 10% of my lineups with Brad Keselowski. Not going to go too crazy. I don't think it's necessarily a cash play with some better cars, more consistent, cars when it comes to finishing position and how they race on mile and a half this year. But
the only mile concern is if we're comparing it to Atlanta, he finished 28th there.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of the difference here when it comes to my exposures on Brad Keselowski. Typically one of the better Atlanta drivers, Kevin Harvick at 96, I think is intriguing for GPPs. I wonder if Rodney Childress is ever going to nail a setup. It seems like that answer is no. But
well, this was the first race back from COVID last year, and they nailed it then. So
right. And I think that leaves me with my first GPP spot of the race is Kevin Harvick. I think it's interesting. Not something I'm going to be doing in cash, but certainly going to have to try. I'm going to try to nail his maybe low ownership, starting that high up with his bad finishes. I think Kevin Harvick could be a decent play. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, one of two ways. He gets up there and he contends, and they figure this out, and he can dominate, get around Brad and lead early, or he just fades back and finishes top 10, has a decent day, but just doesn't accumulate the points we need.
Right.
9.6 is okay price. Yeah. He's not 10K, so definitely sprinkle him into some lineups, like you said, GPP, but I don't think he's a core play here.
No. Kyle Busch at 9.8, coming off the win. Mile and a half guru. Kyle Busch, is he a decent play this week, starting third, 9,800?
I don't know if it's birthday narrative last week or if he's like starting to figure it out and get back. I think this will be a great indicator. Not going to put him in a cash game to figure it out, but again, he will probably be sprinkled in some of my GPPs.
Sure. I mean, that's just something we always do. If you've been listening all year, we've been playing Kyle Busch and GPPs, regardless of his starting position. It's just something that you do with, an excellent driver like this.
Yeah, great team, great driver. Just got to see consistency. So right. It's starting to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Martin Truex Jr., probably the pick of the industry so far heading into tomorrow. 10-3 is probably way too cheap for his upside. This guy, when he dominates, he certainly dominates the entire race. This is something he can do. He can go wire to wire. Is Truex the ultimate play with his price tag?
Oh, he almost did last time at Darlington. Just Chase Elliott kind of got in his way, and that didn't end well for either one of them, if you remember.
No, yeah, Chase went into the inside wall.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a different package this year, so we'll have to see how he adjusts to that. It's the high horsepower, low downforce, as opposed to the lower horsepower, high downforce. So,
sure.
But he's been doing well this year. He's, he's I believe he's ahead in the standings. So
yeah, Yeah, he's been dominant, and I think Truex will continue to dominate. Next up, we have a couple Hendricks cars. Any love for William Byron, and is Chase Elliott gonna figure it out, or is this just gonna be the theme all year?
Well, we said that about Sheldon Creed in the truck race, and
And he won.
he luck boxed that one.
Sure.
That was handed to him. I don't think he did anything. Like, he ran a good race. I'll give him that, but he didn't
Sure.
do anything specific to put himself in that position to win that race, besides being able to avoid the crashes that happen. Chase Elliott, I just don't know. I think he's better on road courses. I think he's better on super speedways. This like intermediate stuff. GPP, he's not a complete fade for me. Byron, his crew chief, seems to be doing really well here, like setups and stuff and having speed. So if either one of these guys won the race, just like Kyle Busch, would not surprise me, but I don't feel as good as I do about Truex as I with these two.
Yeah, I think Byron is climbing into this GPP category for me every week, and I think you hit it on the head when you said the crew chief is dialed in. That's certainly the case. He's made the most. Yeah, he's made the most out of all his setups, and I think Byron's just going to be a GPP play for me here on out because of that. Chase, I'm always going to have exposure to Chase. You never know when he actually shows up, but it's just going to be a low ownership in my multi entries. Now we come to Denny Hamlin at 10.6. Another price tag I feel like is a little too low. What are your thoughts on Denny? And we've had 2 weeks in a row where Hamlin's been running up front, and late in the race he taps the wall or something silly, and he just completely falls off the face of the earth. Is Denny going to have a redemption week, and is this his first win?
I'm not sure about that. I think he's one of the safer ones here. Like, out of all of these guys we talked about, I think Keselowski, Truex, and Hamlin are the safest ones for cash builds. Sure. I like the place differential. I mean, even though it's like only 6 points, even if he doesn't win this race, he's not hurting you as much as Harvick. If he drops 6 places, there's a big difference there. Hamlin doesn't seem like his team's been nailing the setups as well as they did last year, but it seems like the adjustments that they're making during the race are helping him remain competitive. So it's just a matter of time for him. So not my favorite play, but I like his teammate Truex better. But I can definitely see, he's going to be one of the primary ones in my GPP builds, even though I do feel comfortable with him in cash.
I would absolutely agree. Denny Hamlin's going to just be that kind of play week in and week out, and I don't see any difference here at Darlington than I would at Richmond or Martinsville or something like that. It's a 1.3 mile, so I mean it's leans on the short side, but Hamlin, as we know, really good at those tracks. I think he's going to do well tomorrow, certainly in my builds. Next, we're going to come to a little pocket between 8 through 11 of guys under 8K. DiBenedetto, Dillon, they're both 7.8 and 7.5. Reddick at 7.4 and Buescher at 6.5. Are we playing some of these guys just because there might not be that kind of value available throughout the field?
DiBenedetto and Buescher, I'm fading. I feel like they're starting too far forward. Buescher, maybe just based on the price. I might be able to stomach that, but still, he's a top 10 driver, not a top 5 driver.
Right.
I could see him losing a little bit. I don't think he leads here, so I'm out on that. DiBenedetto's having a great season, but he's just starting way too far forward. I don't see him getting up there and dominating. Maybe still hanging in the top 10, but I don't know. That's a stretch for me. Dillon has done well here. I could see him as a GPP, but still, I think it's very risky with his starting position. I don't feel there's a safety there, but I think he's like a long shot to win this. We're not talking like a BJ McLeod long shot by but I think he can do well here, run in the top 5. Tyler Reddick is probably the most interesting one here because the way this track sets up with the tire wear and stuff, there could be multiple grooves. He likes running up high against the wall. If he stays away from the wall, he could
Yeah.
do really well. So he's intriguing. He's out of the 4, he's probably the one that I feel the most comfortable putting in a GPP build. But the rest of the ones, I think I'm just going to leave.
I certainly don't mind playing any of these 4, just based on if they start there, they finish there, or if they, maybe drop a few spots, it doesn't really kill you, and you can kind of get, better finishing position points. The place differential isn't going to be there unless, something crazy happens like we saw in the truck race. But, it's hard to find values, and you're going to have to pick maybe 1 or 2 of these guys. For me, I'm going to go ahead and go with Reddick. I like Dylan on 2-mile tracks, like, California and Texas. I like him on those, Michigan. Like, those are my favorite Austin Dillon moments. So for me, I like Reddick, high line groove, high tire wear. Those are kind of like his, riding the wall. That's kind of his track expertise. And Busher, he's just consistent. It's hard to, like, he doesn't run inside the top 15 all the time. He's going to run from anywhere from like 10th to like 25th, and the whole race you're going to just be ripping your hair out with his with where he's running. You're going to be like, great, Bush is not going to work this week. And then 5 laps to go, all of a sudden you see him just come flying in top 15 like every week. So for that alone, I like that consistency. So Reddick and Busher for me. I think DiBenedetto starting a little too far up, and Dylan just kind of like a wild card. I guess I would say that. Logano starting 12th, 11-1.
I think we just need to go right below him and eliminate Michael McDowell.
Oh,
and I think we need to talk about Logano and Larson in the same breath, because there's only $400 apart. And I think both of these guys, if you pick somebody up above these 2 to lead early, then these guys could definitely get up there and lead.
Oh, it won't take them that long.
Maybe even within the first 15, 20 laps, and maybe even win this race. So
yeah, like these 2 are going to not waste any time getting from their position to the front. I think they pass the 4 drivers we had just mentioned, and they get into this, top 10 pretty quickly. Larson has had one of the best 1.5-mile cars on the circuit this year. So certainly going to be a very popular option amongst the community, probably a popular option in cash. I think Logano sets up to be one of the better GPP plays. I think that's kind of how you attack it. And then I think you'd have to pick one or the other, along with maybe another 10K or 9K racer to try to get, multiple shots at domination. Maybe they both dominate this race at one point, but it's going to be really hard to fit both of those in one build.
True. And yeah. I think, for cash, I'm leaning Larson, not just because he has 2 more, place differential points. He just is having a special season. And I know that like he's his own worst enemy. I mean, he's not as bad as like Stenhouse or Chastain or some of the other guys, or whoever was driving the 52 car in Xfinity today. Every time there was a spin, that I think that was like Golding or whoever.
Oh yeah,
like,
great.
The commentator, even at the end, like when I think it was Joe Graff Jr. or somebody spun towards the end, they were like looking for like the 52 car to see if he caused it.
Nice.
I kind of felt like that was Kyle Larson on the last race. Seems like he was tangling up with a lot of people, but I think, hopefully he learned from this and learned, okay, it's good to be aggressive and stuff, but you got to be careful, play the long game. It's okay to give up 3rd, 4th position in the 3/4 point of the race. Just, catch up and get up there towards, like, save it for the end, like live the fight another day.
Yeah, he does. He definitely races pretty aggressive with plenty of laps to go. It typically runs into trouble. But yeah, like you said, special season for Larson. Certainly going to be in many of our builds. That comes to probably my favorite value play most weeks. Daniel Suarez, your favorite. I smell a head-to-head this week. I like possibly. Him.
You start way too far forward.
How did he fare at Atlanta this year? That's my question.
Okay, let me look.
Yeah, that's what I really need to see. because that's going to be my ultimate teller.
17th.
So he probably started top 20, coming off a decent Daytona race. And I don't think he had a bad, oh no, Atlanta wasn't right after Daytona.
Yeah, because they had the road race in between.
That was a couple weeks later. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I mean, 17th, I don't know. It's not the worst idea for a play under 7K. We've seen him take different strategies, lead laps that way. I just play him at GBPs every week. I could sense it in your mind.
How many head-to-heads have you won against me this season?
I was waiting for it. Okay, next up we have a couple of plays. Blaney and Kurt Busch. Any love? I mean, Blaney's starting to get pretty cheap, and
Blaney is 100% fade for me. This is even though he won Atlanta, which we said is the track. This is by far his worst track. He is horrible at Darlington.
Yeah, he's got a bad history here. But I mean, if we're taking notes from Atlanta, maybe he's just been unlucky. Maybe this is the moment. Maybe Darlington's going to be first or last, Ricky Bobby style.
We're switching packages too, and he hasn't been great in this package either. So I mean, we've got like the double whammy here. Throw him on his worst track and put him in a package that he's kind of struggling in, and two wrongs don't make a right.
Sure. Okay, I'll blindly play that fade with you.
Unless you're going to put him in your head-to-head.
No, I didn't say that, because I certainly don't want to be tagged with that stench if that history keeps up. Next up, we have Kurt Busch at 8,400. I've kind of not been a Kurt Busch guy.
I actually love him here. He is a veteran. He is good on tire wear tracks, which is going to be pulling up Atlanta. Watch, you finish 40th or something. Oh my goodness, he did. He finished 39th.
All right, Blaney versus.
I did not know that. He had an accident. He had an accident though.
Right. I haven't been playing Kurt Busch here. I just don't know if Chip Ganassi has the speed. I don't know.
So my head-to-head guy, I guess.
I just see it as we saw it with Gordon and Earnhardt. When these guys get so old, they start to lose the ability to handle the new cars and these new packages. It's not something they're getting used to. I just see 17th to 21st finishing position, and I don't know if that's going to pay off at 84.
He's finished in the top 10 at Darlington 7 out of the last 10 times they've raced here.
Oh, I believe it. But remember, as you said, those were different packages. Going to use your own words against you. Next up, we have Ross Chastain at 6,300. Guy have been a good source of value the past couple of weeks. Back to
you don't like his Chastain team. You just said that. He's Kurt Busch's teammate.
But he seemingly has been in a groove. Not compared to Kurt Busch, Chastain looks like he's been racing pretty well. I mean, we all jumped on board and it worked out for us last week. I think we should go back to the well. And I like the 6,300 price tag compared to the 84. Now there's a good argument.
And he won this race in Xfinity last year, and Denny Hamlin was in that Xfinity race. So
sure.
Yes, I'm definitely on him. I like both of them.
Do we dare to say Ross Chastain is a cash play tomorrow?
I think at this price point, with the lack of value and his pedigree on this track, and I'm fine with the team. I know you're not.
I'm fine. I'm fine with.
But do you really need to be really fast on this track, or do you need is it more accuracy?
It's handling in and out of. Yeah, it's all about handling, and that's what worries me about an older driver at 8,400. That's all.
How old do you think this guy is?
He's raced for 30 years. He's turning into Jimmy Johnson, in my point of view. That's.
I have to look up how old he is now.
He's probably in his late 30s. Kurt Busch been racing.
Old?
I mean,
Jimmy Johnson was 40 something.
I guess it's the stain of Dale Earnhardt retiring before he was 40 that really leaves a mark on me when it comes to old drivers. Thanks,
He was
Ashley.
born in 1978. So what does that make him, like 43?
Oh, there you go.
No,
Not even
42.
He's 42 years old.
His birthday's August 4th.
I'm out on Kurt Busch. So there's our head-to-head. I'm not playing Blaney though, so I will have to find my head-to-head. Maybe I'll go Eric Jones.
Oh, we've got a lot of guys to go here.
All right. Let's keep going. Next up, we have a driver we probably agree on, and that's Alex Bowman, a guy that really runs well on these 1.5-mile tire wear tracks. Chicagoland, he won there. He just recently won at, is that Martinsville, or was that Richmond? Correct.
I think it was.
Yeah, Richmond.
He's got some nice place differential here too. That's the really
definitely an informed driver. When Bowman's running hot, he's definitely a guy you continue to play. I like him as a GVP to cash play. I knew it was a short track, but I think we both like Bowman in 9,400.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, I can't get him into my cash builds because if I take Truex and Larson, who I really want, and I put him in, then I only I have like peanuts left. I think it's like 6,700 or something, and
yeah,
I just
I'll force you to play Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez, Busher, and then
Ross Chastain. That's what you'll. Yeah, I think that GPP build is kind of like where I'm leaning. So you just kind of nailed my GPP build. I remember I'm popping one in the $100 too tomorrow. I don't know. I put my head-to-head in the $100 too. So I'm looking forward to it. I nailed it last week with
Alex Bowman did finish third at Atlanta too. Just a programming note.
There you go. There's the GPP play. Any love for Ryan Newman?
Yes, experience here. He's probably too old for you, but
I actually, this is going to sound so contradicting, but I don't mind Newman as a GPP play.
I like him in cash. I think he's very.
It's the price
at
tag.
72 at 20th.
Yeah,
I think he's a very safe play. He's got floor. He's so hard to pass. So he finished.
It's a GPP. Yeah. It's a GPP to fade to me. Like I'll either not play him at all or I'll play a small portion because this is definitely not a car that's had a lot of speed this year, but definitely
he's a good play.
But he's lacks some speed, but he's definitely got the experience to finish the race well.
That speed doesn't matter here. Experience.
I'm just talking about overall. Okay. He's lacked speed overall. We definitely don't agree on this race, which is great. We'll see which one of us is right. Christopher Bell at 8,600. I think that's another solid play. Wow. I view him as the same play as Bowman, but even cheaper.
No way. Yeah, he's a fade for me here.
Fade.
He's horrible on this track. In Xfinity, he struggled here. He's not good at Darlington.
I certainly don't mind it.
He's a good driver. He's got good equipment, but and at 8,600, like you
compare him to like Eric Jones. I mean, is Eric Jones going to be, or Almirola, are those two plays better for $300-400 less in probably worse equipment, not as good as a driver? I just think maybe we're reading too much into track history. I think I'm just going based on recent form.
Yeah, I'm out on Bell. 86 is too high to pay. Like in all the builds, he's like kind of in no man's land.
You play him over Bowman, or you play him over, like I said, Jones or Almirola.
Over Bowman.
I just, in different multi-entry builds. No. Remember, I do 150 lineups. You got to take shots like that. That's how you separate yourself. Another guy that I'm probably out on, as you can probably guess, is Chase Briscoe.
I agree with you here. I'm still waiting for that to transpire.
I don't mind Bubba, 7K. One of these races, he's got to work for that team, right? He's got to figure it
True.
out at some point.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
The pressure's got to be building because,
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, they put a lot into this team, and his average finish is, I think, 22nd, 23rd right now. So
it's been a lot of excuses and a lot of terrible finishes.
Yeah, his best finish this year, I think, was like 15th or 16th. So he really hasn't even cracked,
top 10, right? I don't know. It's actually probably a fade in all honesty. Hasn't been there for him. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually don't mind the guy starting behind him. It's Cole Custer. Oh boy, I'm setting myself up for this one.
No, I like him.
No, I have this thing against Cole Custer this year. It's a love-hate relationship. I've been burned by this dude too much this year, and especially Stewart-Haas Racing. But I don't mind him in his price tag starting position. I'd be a fool to think I can't play Cole Custer and watch him finish 30th. So tail end of the lead lap the entire race. It's just going to be my luck. I'm going to have to avoid him in high dollar lineups, but certainly going to be in my pool for the 150.
The $150 one or the $151
lineups? The 150 lineups. So you do like Cole Custer as a cash or GPP play?
I would say cash. Like I think there's not many back here that are below 8K that I really like. Even in this range, like everybody kind of below him, you have Buescher, you have McDowell, you have Suarez, who I know you like. Chastain we agreed on, but right. Newman, you're out on him. Wallace 7K, we're not too hot on him. If you need somebody in this like 7,
I need someone here, and it's going to be Cole.
Right, and if you go higher, you're playing the risk of up there with Reddick and Buescher, which we said we liked Reddick for like GPP, but starting close to the top 10 there, like look at all the place differential you get here.
Yeah, I think Cole Custer can finish just inside that top 20. That's something I'm going to want,
with pull up Atlanta.
Sure. I hope that's not going to tell me bad news. So, because I've chosen him over Bubba and Briscoe. Just finish inside.
Did he race at Atlanta?
Oh God.
Oh, 18. Okay.
There you go. Perfect. That's exactly what I would want, is that 6th place differential points. Maybe he can get inside that top 15. Don't mind Cole Custer. Next up, we have.
Hey, here's where Bubba finished 16th.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Different package, right? Next up, we have Anthony Alfredo, 5,400. Just gonna be a consistent theme of fading him when he's.
I loved him last year in Xfinity. He was great, but he just moved up too fast.
He's running in that John Hunter Nemechek car from last year. It's honestly not that good of a car when you think about it. This has kind of been McDowell's team. We've dominated
the misnomer Front Row Motorsports.
Right. Yeah. He's done nothing of that. So I just consistently fade Anthony Alfredo. Next up, we have probably the biggest, block here in chalk value, I would think, for just the novice NASCAR DFS players. And that would be the mixture of low price tag and starting position with place differential points in mind. And that's Eric Jones at 8,200 starting 26th and Almirola at 8K starting 27th. Eric Jones has a ton of good track history. Almirola seems due, but has definitely had one of his worst seasons on record.
Yeah, he was always up in like the top 10, like sneakily last year. But I don't know. I know you like Jones.
GPP play for sure.
Yeah, and I have both of them as GPPs. If I had a pick, I'd probably save the 200 and take Almirola.
Same though, I would.
Just because, like, I've seen what he's had bad luck. It's not like equipment failure or anything like that. The petty car, it's
not good. definitely have the right driver for Darlington in their car, but it's
Right.
just a lack of
And looking at Atlanta, they're 24th for Jones and 27th for Alfredo. So it's almost right around where they're starting. So
and it won't pay off. I agree with
yeah,
you.
you can't spend 8K and not go anywhere.
Sure, agreed.
That's what happened
Stenhouse.
with Jeffrey Earnhardt with me in Xfinity.
Exactly. I like this play probably better than the other two, though. And that's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at 7,600, starting 28th. He was a pinball last week, but certainly a guy that has a lot of upside when
We got
their
some
cars.
classic Ricky last week.
Yeah, we did. Let's hope he got it out of his system, because I don't mind him in GPPs at that price tag in his starting position. Definitely a guy that's boom or bust. So take that approach when you're rostering Ricky Stenhouse.
12th at Atlanta.
Bingo. Certainly, he was off to a really good start. Just had a bad week last week. I think he gets back on track. Any love for the chalk play of the slate?
Yeah,
Ryan Preece?
definitely. I think he's got to be the first guy in your cash lineup, only simply because the pricing.
Gonna help you fit Larson.
Finish 25th at Atlanta, so definitely about 5 place differential points there. He's been okay. You know, he takes care of his car. He finishes races usually. So
yeah, he's a pretty good driver as well. Definitely like him on some of the short intermediate tracks. Seem to be his better suited track.
Yeah, and JT Doherty Racing has been a decent team too.
I would consider them to be better than Front Row, even though Front Row
Rick Ware.
Sure, yeah. I like the JT Doherty trade. They just had bad luck last week. I think they both get back on track. Two of the good plays back here. I'll go Stenhouse and Preece. All right, so from 30 to 37, we have what is known as the bottom of the barrel. Any plays between LaJoy, Haley, McLeod, Ware, Yaley, Huff, and Davidson and Bilicki?
LaJoy has been sneaky at times. I wish 30
starting 30th,
is fringe high for me. 57, I can do that in GPP. Justin Haley, his equipment is horrible, but he has run it in Xfinity and done really well. So he sees the tracks. I just think it's just a matter of time before he kind of sneaks up there. BJ McLeod, he does really well at this track and likes this track, some of his favorite tracks. So, and he's ran in the other two series. He was in trucks and he was in cars.
I was going to say this would probably be the only play I would consider, because 4,700, he's raced the last two races. I think he can, get a little bit of place differential, and then maybe if there's a ton of wrecks or something. He was
34th at Atlanta, and Justin Haley was 30th.
Yeah, I think if you're playing someone back here, you're hoping for.
And LaJoy was 29th, so they're all pretty much finishing where they're starting.
Yeah, you're hoping for wrecks, really. You're hoping for something like the Truck Series to happen, and these guys help you fit someone like the Logano Larson double build, but I don't think it's a priority. It's a long shot mentality. Other than that, I got no one else.
Yeah, the rest of them, like Yaley, all the Rick Ware cars have seemed to be off the pace, breaking down, and Quinn Huff. Yeah. There's one race a year that he will end up 15th, but I don't think this is it.
No, not Darlington. Okay, well, I think that'll pretty much do it. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, lock in Preece for cash, and then make your determination for your driver that's probably going to get up there eventually. Either pick Larson or Logano, and then figure out which guy you like up top. And we said we like Keselowski. Truex is probably our favorite. Hamlin are probably the best options, but anybody starting in the top 7 could get out early, could lead, and could potentially win this. Not much value, so you're going to have to pick and choose. We like Chastain at 63 and Custer at 71. And we vary on some of our other plays, but other than that,
but that's expected. Right. Yeah, I think that's a great build to start with. Definitely going to be a balanced approach in some GPPs, and definitely going to need Priest and cash. So, yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for listening to what was a incredibly long weekend here at Darlington. Let's hope it ends on a high note. And thank you for listening. Comment below if you want any core projections, core lineups, chat room, Discord. You can find that link on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. The link is in the bio. You can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. You can follow Andrew at MegaRuler31. Thank you and enjoy your Sunday.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. That's right.